One.
You're not supposed to say one. You're supposed to do it.
One.
All right. We've been
One.
gone for a long time, but we're back. Um, like a horror movie slasher, you can't keep a good thing down. No one's shut us down yet.
Yeah, we had some visit from the CIA. Basic.
And I'm still here.
It's an ongoing case, so we can't discuss the details legally.
It's just, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
my
That would be
ex-wife.
a shitty way to lose a case, though. Like you're in court, you're like, oh, I got this. Like I got the airtight alibi. Like I'm getting off, and then like you get on Facebook, you're like, oh, I did it.
It was me.
Really screw yourself up. Everything I said
well-
was a lie.
This is On the Fringe of Society, and I am still your host, AC Darkly.
I'm Brian Wilson.
Still Brian Wilson.
And I'm Ernest Norman.
That should be your solo album, Dan. Or Brian Wilson. Still Brian Wilson.
Forgot that.
We're gonna get paranormal on you guys.
All up on you.
As we enjoy to do.
A little something.
Yeah, we'll do a little quick one for you guys here today. So Aaron's got a good story about the impending apocalypse. As usual, the world's always ending.
Always something coming at us.
We got a cool story coming out of rural Pennsylvania, where a lot of stuff goes on.
Don't you know it?
Don't you know?
What happened to rural Pennsylvania?
Oh, let me tell you, Brian Wilson.
I'm curious to know.
So basically, have you ever heard of Big Squat? Big Squatch, yeah.
Bigfoot.
Have you heard of the Big Squat?
Never.
Big Squatch, yeah. No, Sasquatch.
Big
Anyway,
Squatch.
so I guess this is like a variant of Sasquatch, like Sasquatch, the next level, called Bat Squatch.
Okay.
How
and
next level?
Is that what it sounds like? Bat Sasquatch?
That's literally exactly what it is. So
Man bat of North Dakota.
Well, it's in Pennsylvania. Is that?
yeah.
Except
I'll
in
give you a
Pennsylvania.
little backstory on the Bat Squatch. Apparently, this isn't the first sighting. The first sighting of Bat Squatch was in 1994, when Kurt Cobain died. Not a coincidence, I don't think.
Definitely not a coincidence.
When reports,
I heard they're gonna come out with like a documentary on his death, with Courtney Love being a large part of it. The recent just came out.
Isn't that
Yeah.
every documentary? Like she kind of was like, she did
Yeah.
it. She's the one that did it.
The one who killed him.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I don't know. Anyway, so 94 Bat Squatch flying around. He was sighted at Mount Rainier.
Okay.
So basically, they thought like, oh, this is your average Sasquatch sighting. He's just walking, and then lo and behold, mind's blown. His wings pop out, and he just flies away. So just picture that for a second. Like you are just witnessing this like awe-inspiring moment. Like, oh, I'm seeing a Bigfoot. Like I can't comprehend what's going on. And then your brain's finally come to terms trying to process that, and then all of a sudden it just flies away. Like that
It's pretty
is
great.
some shit.
Hmm.
No.
All right, so the
That
most
is-
recent sighting. Well, I don't know if it's
How
the most,
often does that Jeepers Creepers come out?
Oh,
That's what
like
it sounds
like the
like.
lore in that movie. Yeah, that's what I picture like with this wings and it's flying. Every 23 years.
Mhm.
Only with better actors.
Justin Long. All right, well, this is off topic, but did anyone see the trailer for Tusk?
No.
I heard about it. Oh, Kevin Smith is back.
Kevin Smith. Don't get me started. Anyway, I
Hey,
love
man, he wrote
I
for
love
Batman.
Mallrats. I love Mallrats.
You love Mallrats.
Yeah, but anyway, like the Tusk, the trailer was like it actually looks like it's gonna be pretty good. It's kind of like it's basically like inspired by Human Centipede, and you guys saw that, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
But like I guess Justin Long's the main character, and he gets kidnapped, and like the dude's trying to make him a human walrus for some reason. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll see it.
Well, his last thriller wasn't too bad. It came out in
Red State actually wasn't too bad.
with John Goodman. Yeah, my favorite actor.
What? I don't know. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and like John Goodman, I forget what movie we were watching. He was in it. And they're like, man, like he was really good as Fred Flintstone. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
He was Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, I know he was, but I mean, like that's how you know John Goodman is like, oh man, that's Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So back. So this sighting took place in March of 2011.
Okay.
So what was happening? It was located in Butler County, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Like a lot of farmland up there, so rural. So a passing through businessman I guess he was traveling along a stretch of highway up there, and he saw this Bigfoot walk down in a grassy area down this hill in this grassy area. So he stops his car and he's watching this, and I guess at first like he saw it moving, he thought it was a deer, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna let this deer cross the road. I don't want to hit the deer. Well, when it got closer, it like was like hunched over. It stood up. So then his next thing was like he was stunned. Like there's a Bigfoot. Like I'm seeing a Bigfoot. This is crazy. So he's sitting there watching this thing. It's looking back at him, and it starts walking. He's like sitting there. He's like, wow, this is pretty crazy. Well, it flies up into a tree, lands on a branch.
Okay.
Looks back at him, and then flies out into like the night sky.
Oh.
So basically, he just says that its head, it looked at the top of the skull, it was like one of those aerodynamic helmets. The top was not quite a point, but looked like a ridge on top of the head. The face was flat, and the eyes were not clearly defined. The ears, he really couldn't see them. He really just couldn't make it it looked like the typical Bigfoot, except for it had wings that were similar to a bat.
So it wasn't like leathery all over. It was just the wings.
No. So it like had the normal fur, everything, but it had bat wings.
Okay.
It reminds me of like a large. I think of like a large flying squirrel now. A large sugar ray.
The only thing he says differently than a Bigfoot was he really couldn't tell because it was like walking through grass and stuff. But he said it appeared like the legs almost were bent backwards, like kind of like the Jersey Devil, how it has like a horses, like the feet like that. So
yeah,
that's,
like the joints are just not the same position as other mammals. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing the this thing. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So it's been spotted twice so far in Butler.
It's been a couple times, but the first time it was spotted was in '94. So that's it's not just one isolated.
Yeah, this isn't a one-time deal.
But I guess
this thing didn't just like fly back off in outer space.
Yeah. But I just thought it was a pretty cool story just for the fact that like the experience of seeing a Bigfoot in itself would be something to behold. Like, especially like I've never witnessed a Bigfoot. I'd like to because that'd be like real affirming of all these stories. But the fact that
one day
experience this and then it's like the next level. It's like just out there like blowing minds.
Yeah. Takes it to the next
level. The only
level.
thing better is if it would have
true.
If it would have landed on like the branch of the tree, and when it was looking back at him, just pointed, it was like, "Tonight, you." And then flew away. That would have been something.
What's peak Bigfoot gonna be? What's the limit of this Bigfoot?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what's the next level? Like, if you just keep topping yourself, Sasquatch, like, where are you gonna go from here?
Yep. Sasquatch level 3. It's gonna be like a cyborg. Cyborg Sash.
Part Terminator. It's ripping guitar.
Part Terminator.
Guitar solos.
From scratch.
It has a couple Roman candles. It just lights off while it flies by. All right. Well, you weren't here last time for this, Aaron, but we have a new rating scale, 1 to 99. And it just pretty much determines what we think about this story.
Hmm.
I'll give this one a Well, I'll give you a little bit more facts. They said a field research, just like the Bigfoot Society of Pennsylvania, who was reported to. They went in and investigated, and because it had rained that night, there was some like substantial like evidence they could find.
Tracks.
They couldn't really make out any tracks or anything. It was all muddy, all mucky, and
Oh, I thought
really
like mud tracks and mud. You know,
No, I
thought
watched
that
it
goes
all out.
in.
the only thing they really were able
My
to
bad. I'm
do
making too much sense.
is a road sign near where it walked. The guy reported that it walked. They measured it, and the road sign was over 8 feet tall. And the head of the creature was estimated to reach like a few inches over that. So the creature was around a little over 8 feet tall. So they could get like perspective, but besides that, nothing else. So,
Yeah.
out of a 1 to 99, I'd have to give this. I'll say a 36. 6% being that I hope this is like real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like a 30, just because it sounds similar to a monster in a video game I played once, and I can't remember which game it was, but I think it was on the Sega Genesis.
Was it Alter Beast?
It might be Altered Beast.
That game is pretty sweet.
Um, so I can't say exactly. It might also be from Ghosts and Goblins, but maybe it's some subconscious residue happening from somebody who's played. I would have to know if this guy's played Ghosts and Goblins before.
Ghost and Goblins is a real sore spot for me because that game was so tough, and then you got to the end and you're like, I did it, I felt accomplished. And then they're like, well, you only beat half the game because you didn't have this. Well, see you later.
Oh, that sounds like a tough game.
Bitch, yeah.
It's before your time.
Yeah, I'd have to say that I would think I was in the 30s before I heard the height. And my opinion is, I always thought like the missing link is going to be smaller than humans, and
I don't know.
Especially since we've learned over time that we grow, we've grown.
We
Yeah.
shrunk.
Like,
we
True, like wingspan is something to think about too. Wingspan could be 8 feet, but obviously I would always want to see something like this if I had the opportunity. But I'm gonna go with like a 20. I'm gonna go with like a 24, 25.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really can't fault that. Just there's no substantial evidence. It's a cool story, but there's just nothing there.
Just had to rain.
Yeah.
Just a random businessman going down the highway. Well, first,
Yeah.
that's something where they would give a low score to, is because I've actually been to Butler, Pennsylvania, and there's not too many.
Exactly.
Not too many
That's
businessmen passing through there.
I've seen some interesting things in Butler, but not this one.
All right, what do you got next for us, B-Rye?
Oh, for me, you want some paranormal activity?
All kinds.
All right,
All
well,
but the
I'm just
movie.
gonna, in this spirit, I'm going to share with you what is in truth a very lengthy UFO abduction story. And I'm going to do my best to summarize it, and then we can just talk about our feelings.
All right.
I like talking about my feelings.
I really need this.
All right, so this takes place in 1988. This man, let's call him Mike. He's in bed by 8 p.m. because he worked really early in the morning, so he had to get up every morning, 4 a.m. And so he gets woken up by a bunch of dogs barking because he doesn't usually have this problem. And so he opens his eyes and realizes he's not in his bed. The dogs are barking at him because he's in the middle of the street and walking.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. And so he's like, fuck. Now he realizes that he's not actually controlling his body. He's looking out of his eyes. He can kind of control his eyes and move and look around, but he's not controlling his movement or what's going on. And he walks into the woods down a bike trail. And basically gets led to this kind of ball-shaped craft. And so it's just like a sphere, and it's not lit up or anything, and it's in the middle of the woods in this clearing, and he feels himself being walking onto the craft. And he sees two beings that are kind of shrouded in darkness, but he can tell that there's something there. following him in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he can gains a little bit more control. He asks the beings, the shadows, what's going on, where are we going? They say they're going. So he realizes he's not scared at all. Um, he feels like he knows them, but then he blacks out. And he wakes up again, and he's naked in like a pool that's shaped
Mm-hmm.
like a funnel, and it's not. It's filled with like this green black gel. Um, so he's
Oh.
submerged in it. And
Aaron,
so
your pool was like that one time.
it's
Yeah, my
gross.
bad. I can relate.
So the pool, basically, they're in this gel, and he kind of realizes that if he moves and struggles, he'll sink in the gel. But he's like kind of in stasis, and he looks around. There are 15 other people with him, at least, in this pool, and they're kind of screaming, they're panicking. And so this is what actually scares him because he feels super calm up to that point, but then people are freaking out, and he sees people trying to climb out. When they would climb out, they get hit with a beam, and they like slide back into the pool. And this guy is thinking, like,
Mm-hmm.
where's that guy even trying to go? If he gets out of the pool, where's he going to go? Um, and he realizes that somebody tells him, one of the beings in the shadows tells him, there's nothing to worry about. Actually, you can breathe the gel, you can eat the gel, and it recycles human waste. So,
All right,
it's
that's
like,
when I don't eat the gel. He had
don't
me
eat.
like when you can eat it, breathe it, but
No
as soon as he
thanks.
mentioned cycle, I was like, ah,
Breathing it would be very interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It's like
I
in
get you.
Evangelion where they're like in the LCL in the cockpit. It's like that.
okay, that's
Um,
Mm.
I get that.
and so he's looking around and sees these people. Some of them are panicking. Some of them are totally chilled out and like not struggling, kind of defeated. Um, but he's kind of thinks like, have they been here for like years? Because this is like a holding tank for them to like sustain themselves. Um,
So almost
so
almost like the pods in like the Matrix,
mm,
where like they
yeah,
were in
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he's like communicating with these beings. They're like picking him up out of the gel, and they have like he's like rubbery like frog like skin, which he really doesn't like. Um, but he eventually decides to cooperate. And so a tall one comes up to him and says that with a smaller one comes to, and they want to do some medical examinations, and they say that he's a prophet, is what they say. And so,
Mm-hmm.
Do they ask when they're going to do these medical examinations? They ask for your insurance card, or how does that work?
you have to sign a waiver.
Are you? Is this out of my HMO coverage area?
And so he feels like he can read their minds, and he feels like I'm not scared. He trusts them. He feels like they're not lying to him. They take a skin sample, a semen sample, um,
Of
and
course.
take his right eye out of his head.
My kind. Oh.
Wait, what?
And they take his right eye. It's still connected, but they like take it out. They put a metal ball in the eye socket, and they put the eye back in. And they say so they can monitor him from space. Um, and so he's just starts after this communicating with the taller alien. Um, he said, and the alien was talking to him like he was like 5 years old. They take his semen. They
I
say because
probably would too.
yeah, like talking down to him. They
Yeah.
say they're taking his semen so they can make baby humans in space, and they can kind of like project visions into his head to show him.
I like how they keep emphasizing the space part too. In space.
Yeah, and so he's looking around, and he realizes that there are like perfect looking human beings walking around like nothing's wrong. And he kind of surmises that these are aliens that have been created in
Mhm.
space. Um,
Super symmetry.
yeah, it's like X-Files shit. Um,
Oh.
and so he's like walking around with these guys, and he sees like little kids doing jobs on the ship, and it's like these kids have been mentally programmed to do these jobs. He walks into a room, he sees a dead cow hanging from the ceiling, but there's nothing. Well, it's hanging from the ceiling. It looks like it, but there's nothing holding it up. Um, they dip the cow in the gel. The gel doesn't like overflow or anything. It's like It's not even affected by the cow's mass.
So it doesn't have like the normal properties of
Huh.
like volume and
Regular
stuff
matter.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. So he said basically they have to like make their own cows to feed their human specimens. So they can't take Earth cows. They like breed their own space cows that are perfect, just like the humans are perfect.
That's the if I'm ever make an anime show, it's gonna be called Space Cow Perfect.
That's some good steak.
Perfect
Yeah,
cows
but you're not
forever.
really supposed to eat that much red meat. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
if you look at the
Whatever.
consumer reports and stuff, it changes so much. Like originally, they thought drinking a lot of milk and dairy products was really good for you, but the truth
And then
is,
turn.
It's terrible for you.
yeah. But
Yeah,
not to cut you
that
off
was
from the
the milk
story, but
industry.
think of this like what you're saying with the humans and stuff. Like this is like a little off, but um, this is actually kind of ingenious on the aliens' part to breed their own humans in space and stuff like that. Because if a lot of humans were disappearing from here and they were being used as space slaves, like eventually someone would be like, well, hey, like, what's happening to all these people? But if humans that people on Earth don't ever even know about, who's going to say something about them being used as slaves?
Mhm.
I hear you. It's an intelligent way to not have a lot of suspicion. If you got the time or the technology
Well,
to
maybe time's not
fast
relevant to these
breed these
aliens.
people.
If you could travel across galaxies and stuff, maybe they're like
True.
the time masters.
So
True. True.
there's an
Time
interview.
time is space. Just remember.
There's an interview with this guy that follows the story. So if you guys have any questions, um, basically he was like there were two different kinds of aliens. The tall ones were very peaceful and humanoid looking, except they had bigger eyes. The smaller ones kind of looked like grays, and they were, he said, obnoxious and mean.
Assholes.
Yeah, they were kind of assholes and like
I could
didn't
see
seem like
that.
it. Um,
It's not really surprising.
let's see. He said the gel. He kind of thinks that it was not so much to hold people, it's just decontaminate them, so there wasn't like cross species germs. Um,
That's how AIDS got started.
and he maybe
What was-
that's some crazy shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so he said he tried not to look at the aliens because he found them to be hatefully ugly and appalling, but he was trying to be kind because he could tell that they were trying to be kind to him. Um, he agreed to cooperate. They were putting these thoughts in his head that he would be fine. He also realized that they do no good to like resist. Um,
Oh.
so let's see. He said the big aliens, they looked like humans, but just like really ugly ones, like appalling ones. Um, and so they're feeding humans basically pure milk and meat, which you can tell this was in 1988 because, like you said, that's not a healthy diet. I think if they replicated
Yeah.
the story with what we know now from Dr. Oz, it'd be like quinoa.
They're probably all smoking cigarettes.
And he said that the aliens said that they've been around longer than humans. They've been helping us along the way. They age differently than people on Earth, and for some reason, like they have a different relationship to time, so they can't exist.
Oh.
But they showed him Atlantis, and they said Atlantis abused the technology given to them by the aliens. Um, they helped the Egyptians. They like the Egyptians. Um, he said that they actually went to the moon. But it was the quote back of the moon.
The dark side.
And he said that
Oh.
so they can't be
Dark
detected
side.
for somehow. And in 2015, they're going to come and the world will clean itself again by eliminating all life. And the aliens are basically waiting for that to happen to populate the Earth and kind of take over. So they're creating human. They're not going to take over necessarily themselves, but they're like breeding their own perfect human race, so that
When we're
They
done
can-
fucking up, they could just.
the Earth. There's going to be some sort of cataclysmic event, and they're going to repopulate the Earth with humans, and he said that the aliens described themselves like the closest description they could give. It wasn't necessarily that they were aliens; they were humans a million years from now. So it's like humans coming back from a million years in the future
From
to maintain the Earth and like make sure it doesn't go into total human extinction.
Wait a second, Doc. You're telling us we're
Oh.
aliens?
We're aliens, and we also
raising time travelers.
we're
Oh,
time
man,
traveling
get
aliens.
out here.
Wow, that's some loud. Yeah, that's some loud thunder. Did you hear that, John?
Yeah, it's like crazy. I live down the street from you.
I just freaked myself out a second because I heard like footsteps outside my window.
Uh-oh. They know. No,
Right.
I don't. About
You might
this
want to
story,
watch out
though,
for that.
this is what gets me on this is there's like two things going on here. He tries to cover all the bases, where he explains literally every phenomenon.
He really
with
did.
the cow mutilation all the way out to Atlantis to where the aliens came from. The way I look at it is like the James Bond villain problem.
Where he explains too much.
Yeah, why does he have to explain it to James Bond and not kill him? To whereas
This
if,
really,
if they're
yeah.
just using us humans and they have the immense power to make a guy physically uncontrol his body and take him into space, why would you take the time out of your
And they
your
need-
day and explain to him everything?
Well, they
Not
said
just like what
especially
you're
when they
doing to
need to
him, the
talk down to
procedures.
him.
Yeah,
well, they said that he was a prophet. Like he was supposed to take this story back and
yeah.
tell people. So they took the time to take him aside and explain everything.
This reminds me of like two
I don't even
seasons.
know why they won't like if they're advanced enough they could fly across the galaxy, like throw this dude a DVD or something. Like, oh, this explains everything.
Somehow they're from a million years in the future, but they don't know that milk is bad for you too.
Yeah.
They're
Maybe
basically
maybe in the future it's good.
it's perfect cows.
Forever.
The dairy industry literally just owns everything.
These are Marburgers aliens.
This is
Drink
they're
your
time
milk.
traveling to like subliminally send this dude back to Earth to advance their milk agenda.
Honestly, though, yeah, if a giant corporation ruled the world and they could time travel,
They would
It's
have a
like,
milk agenda.
The milk
buy
agenda
beef, buy milk.
by E. Ernest Nyman.
Yep.
All right. So what are you guys' thoughts on this one?
I'm gonna go with a 17. Just basically what I said. With he just tried to explain too much. There's just too much going on. Did he go to get checked or anything for that metal piece they put in his eye?
It doesn't say so.
Imagine that conversation with your doctor, like, oh, like any other
Yeah.
questions before you
That'd
leave?
be
Like,
pretty
oh
bad.
yeah, like I got abducted like the other night. Like, you think you could check out this metal piece in my eye? Sir, that's not covered under
That's
your
probably not the oddest thing the doctor has heard. I'm pretty sure I've said stranger things to my doctor.
Ow.
Yeah. By the way, can you,
that you're
can
really
you
big
touch
into, like,
my private
holistic
parts,
now?
please?
Sir,
Yeah.
you're here for an eye exam.
I'm really gonna need you to check me out. Come on.
Aaron goes to the optometrist and takes his pants off.
trying to get my bang for my buck.
All right. So what's your rating
But
on the 1 to 99 Fringe scale?
this just reminds me of like 3 seasons worth of like X-Files storyline. It encompasses like everything.
Yeah. The Syndicate.
Alien human hybrids who are picking bees and drinking milk and eating beef, smoking a camel. Yeah, this is classic.
Oh, I saw like news out of Comic-Con. They were talking. Fox is in like talks to reboot the X-Files, but like with new.
I heard
actors.
about that a couple months ago. Yeah, as long as they keep
That'd be terrible.
that beautiful man,
Chevy?
whatever Deshevy. Is that his name?
Time out. Dude, that was the best thing I ever heard.
David Deshevy.
That beautiful man. David Duchovny, Aaron.
The Coveney, yeah. I mean, honestly, he's aged a little bit. That's understandable. That was like 20 years ago. He's still pretty good looking.
Okay, man.
Nobody's saying David Duchovny isn't good looking.
That's a fact. That's like a constant. The Coveney law.
Yep.
Yeah, X equals David Duchovny. David Duchovny.
This should be.
That's they have to have like those main two if they're gonna do it. But like from what
That
I
was
understood
it.
from
That's
the
why.
article was that they're going in like a different direction.
That's how the show went south.
Yeah, you put the dude from Terminator 2 on there, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Come on, you were the bad guy. I don't trust you.
All right,
That
so
bothers me when
So what's your
when
rating?
villains get recast in different roles. Oh, okay.
what's next on our agenda?
Wait, what's your? You didn't give it a rating.
I'm gonna give it a I agree with all you guys. I'm gonna give it a 27. It's too
27.
it's too perfect. It's like tries to
Too
explain
perfect.
too many things. In the whole drinking milk thing, I just don't like it.
Space cow, perfect.
It's just like okay. Plus, if they were recreating humans, and they were said they were creating the milk for babies to eat, like to subsist on. But if they were creating humans, why weren't they just having like people lactate?
Yeah, that's like, and that's actually nutrients from that are better for the development. Maybe they want them underdeveloped.
They want meat.
They seem they're pretty
That's it.
big on perfection though, so I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a
Drink your milk.
different idea of
Eat your
perfection.
Ovaltine.
All right, on to the next one. Our
Um,
main
I gotta.
event. No pressure. Aaron.
So I've been gone for a little while. Probably like 2 episodes, I think.
Out on
So
a sabbatical.
so I've earned, I feel, or the opportunity. I get the opportunity to have an interesting final topic. This is gonna, this is a smaller show, so although it's kind of getting long, but well.
We got a good one in the works coming up.
Yeah, I swear we're planning it. But I'd like to talk a little bit about black holes and their impact on Earth.
Okay.
And there's some suspicion that it might be a common occurrence for black holes to pass through the Earth or have a pretty steady impact on Earth.
Wow, this was a twist. This was not the story I was expecting.
Yeah. So I did some digging during the episode. And I kind of just
twist, keeping
rolled
it fresh,
with it.
keeping us on our toes.
Yeah.
Was that a dinosaur?
So my interest started.
Oh, bitch!
Where did that duck come from? But
Duck.
my interest started when I saw it sound like a duck. But I saw a video about a giant hole in Yamal. I don't know where that is. I'm
In
pretty
Yamal?
sure it's in Africa.
Yo,
Yeah.
mom.
Oh. And basically, you see it. I watched a video of it. You see a helicopter flyby of this pretty dense forested area, and then out of nowhere, you see just the ground raise up a good, let's say, 50 feet out of nowhere, and then beyond that range is a giant hole in the ground. And it's not filled with water. There's nothing. It's just a random cavern. And what's unique about this that I saw is that it's not coastal. It's pretty inland. And so, like, you see a lot of these holes, especially in the Caribbean and stuff like that, in between North and South America, that are these huge holes in the ocean,
Central.
but they're all they're filled with water. Central America, yeah, my bad. Come on, I was pretty much spelling it out. But so like the Great Blue Hole of Belize, there's a lot of them. They're all Central American, Central America. Although there's a pretty big one in Siberia.
Well,
What happened?
did you skip black hole?
You just fell into
Yeah.
the hole.
Well, the one in the one in Siberia, people dug themselves to like try and stop a giant sinkhole from happening, but it didn't really work out because it's like we just gonna have to keep digging. So they dug like almost a mile down. So
Reminds me of that time we
a
had
couple
that
of these other
construction
ones,
job.
yeah, just kept digging those holes.
We dug one hole, Brian, literally, for 4 days.
That's a lot of days to dig a hole.
We
wanna know
dug
you wanna know how deep
like
that hole was? 3 feet.
I mean, that's
What had
pretty big for a
happened
hole.
was we were like, you know what? We're a little bit gypsy. We'll try to rip these people off, fill it up. We'll dig down 2 feet, not the standard amount. 2 feet. Fill it with concrete. That'll be the base. That inspector was good at his job. Spent 4 days cracking concrete, digging a hole.
the best part is like what actually made it a little easier was like we didn't even mix the concrete. We're just like it'll fucking rain. Oh, I can't say that. I was like, oh, it'll rain.
You can say fuck, dude. It
Who's
doesn't
that?
matter.
Yeah, you don't have to say fuck.
Dude, this is the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
Where have I been? All right. Well, we just pretty much just threw all the concrete dust in. We're like, yeah, that'll harden up pretty fast. We got this. But then to dig the extra foot and a half, we had to dig through like bedrock.
Bedrock. Yeah. We're not talking about the Flintstones.
Yeah.
John Goodman.
Not yet. John Goodman.
Hey, he needs to be giving us some residuals. We referenced him twice.
Hey, I'll talk about him all day for free.
Yeah, that's
The head of the John Goodman, David Duchovny.
David
Yeah.
Duchovny.
I can't even remember what he's. I've never heard anyone pronounce it like that.
Oh man. So I was looking at all this information on like what would the impact be on black holes, you know? What are all these holes coming from, you know? So you guys was it Mount Kilimanjaro is a nice example of the exact opposite. Just overnight a mountain pretty much springing up, you know, just cuz it's in between two tectonic plates and stuff. And that's what honestly could be causing this. But I was thinking an easy way to see this is to just think about how the Earth is changing in correlation to mass, you know, so how mass is increasing or decreasing over time. And NASA over the past 2 decades has actually done some good guesstimations on this stuff. So there's pretty much cosmic dust, cosmic rays bombarding the Earth constantly. They say that could add about 55 tons a year of matter. And then, but they say certain things can decrease. You know, there's some unexplained phenomenon. There is which could be attributed to black holes. There's say if there's a particularly mild solar flare. I mean, there hasn't been anything wild in a while. That'll just literally make it through our magnetosphere and actually blow a little bit of our atmosphere away, just a tiny bit. That happens every once in a while. But then there's these large unexplained occurrences.
Mhm.
And it turns out that just as in like there's these particles that are constantly adding mass to the Earth, it's understandable to also think that there's this antimatter flying through going through the Earth. It'll eventually hit something and then just dissipate. So you can also say, and a lot of this is kind of fringe science, and that's why it's here. But small, very small. I'm talking a handful of mass.
Handful of grapes.
Black hole, black hole could go through our atmosphere, gain a little bit of mass, you know, suck it all up, and become full. And when a black hole is full, basically like what size it is compared to all the mass around it, it can sometimes just wink out of existence. So like just like when an antiparticle hits a positive or a regular particle, they'll just neutralize. So that's what could be happening. And it's actually theorized that it's very common. So if it's happening on a small scale, and that's likely, it's also likely that it happens on a larger scale but less often.
So
So
instead of the tectonic plate idea of that's why these sinkholes are appearing around the globe and things like that, you're saying maybe some of these particles, the bombardment, that might be causing this?
yeah, and it's actually logically it's not impossible.
Yeah. Hey, if you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly. Yep. Over a long enough period of time, it could happen.
That's pretty. I mean, that's a
So
cool alternative theory there.
It's pretty out there, but I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
We're open to most things.
I think that is very accurate. I know I am.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear something else?
What
I
if
heard
we
a
said
very
no?
interesting. Well, I won't tell you.
You tell us.
Please tell us.
All right. This is also a little spacey, but a lot of people are like all for colonizing Mars right now. You know, people are just like, hell yeah, let's do it.
It's hot right
You know,
now.
like
It's not hot
100,000 people. Yes, Mars is hot.
Marcy's
But,
moms.
but supposedly last week there's a type of bacteria that they theorize will be able to thrive on Mars. So that was pretty interesting.
Okay.
But for life to really survive, I was looking at some stuff just because there's a lot of debates I listen to, and I was bored not doing this show.
I don't know if you
So
don't. I don't know if you know or not, but like, what would the process of terraforming Mars, like to make it
that's what
habitable,
I'm just
like
getting
what?
to.
Okay.
Read my mind. So the biggest thing is like, all right, atmosphere, right? Atmosphere is very important. We want to be able to breathe. So all of the oxygen on Mars has been bleached into the rocks. That's why it's red. So and there's actually ice caps. Not well, they theorize that there's ice caps at the poles. If we can somehow melt the ice caps, bam, tons of atmosphere because that introduces oxygen, hydrogen into the water.
All right.
You're into the atmosphere. And then the biggest thing is, and I'm
Trees.
telling you, I'm really starting to. The trees are getting there, getting there. But the biggest thing is like, in space, there's a lot of radiation. Like, remember that those dust particles that are bombarding the Earth constantly?
Isn't that what protects Earth? Is that magnetic sphere?
Yeah. Well, it turns out all the pussy molecules come into Earth, and the magnetosphere just punches the big ones in the face, gets them out of there, and that's why we can live and breathe and we're happy. On Mars, where it no longer has magnetic sphere because its iron core, kind of like froze up, became solid.
Yeah.
It's constantly being bombarded by these heavy radiation particles that will pretty much like destroy us.
Yeah. Which
Just
is not
imagine like
space
what's it? Chernobyl. So in the first like 30 seconds of Chernobyl, you lose eyesight because your eyes literally like deform. They become 100% cancerous. So like that, just imagine that on like a lot larger scale. The
All I
interesting
see is
thing I heard is
the Dan Bauer story.
the interesting, the easiest way they're thinking to terraform Mars would be, and this is still going to take generations, but to restart its magnetosphere. So pretty much in the center of of Earth, there's about a 5 mile solid chunk of uranium. So the Earth literally has like a nuclear core that's powering everything.
Right.
So if we can launch some type of digger, I would recommend.
You're saying we're gonna nuke Mars?
Yeah, pretty much. We got to nuke its core.
I'm in.
This sounds like a
Bruce
great
Willis style.
Yeah.
I would watch this movie.
This is actually the plot of Marcy's Moms.
Okay.
Of what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
even gonna
pretty
check.
cool.
I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah.
You guys know what that is?
It's
I've
a
heard the name
children's
before.
movie. It's an animated movie.
Yeah, for children.
I know my animated movies.
It's this. I was kidding.
Oh.
They don't nuke anything in Marcy's Moms because they're
They
children.
should.
Because they want moms.
Marcy's-
Mars needs moms / children need nukes.
Dude, kids do need nukes. Kids on the street, kids on the beat, nuke kids.
On the block.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty cool.
So I don't know how we want to do this. Do you guys want to vote?
This isn't really a voting
the legitimacy
thing.
of this theory. It's a theory.
The theory that you came up with?
No, actually, I found a couple articles that were talking about this, but it kind of snowballed to where like maybe, and then I was like, oh, other people think this.
You put this into publication?
Yeah, this is actually something you can.
What would your thesis
If you're an
in regards to-
astrophysicist, if you're an astrophysicist, you can easily publish something on something to do with probably the unknowns in the of the mass of Earth over time, you could definitely theorize something like this and write a paper and probably
Do you
get
think
published.
that most astrophysicists believe that nuking Mars is the right thing to do?
Honestly, yes, because astrophysicists are really common. I mean, they're the ones who pretty much understand what cosmic rays are and their importance in life. So,
Do
yeah.
astrophysicists perceive astro zombies as a legitimate threat to Earth?
That's why we
Uh,
got to nuke them before they nuke us.
And
yeah,
what's their prime directive?
Nuke.
be loved.
To exterminate the whole human race. Come on.
Love
Oh
nukes.
man,
Must love nukes.
let's
Mars
love
needs
nukes.
nukes.
That's our theory right there. By the transitive property, Mars needs nukes. That's what I'm gonna. If I ever run for president, that's what I'm. My
Mars needs nukes.
my whole campaign's gonna be based upon.
Oh. Something else crazy about Mars. A couple years back, NASA's like, "Oh yeah, we plan to be on Mars by 2036," and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing!" You know.
Dude, what
Well,
happened? George Bush said we were gonna be there like last year.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, it was George Bush. Come on. But Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla Motors and SpaceX,
What was
he's like,
What
"Yeah,
was
we'll
his name?
definitely." Elon Musk.
That's an awesome name.
It's like EOLN.
It's ELON. It's
ELON.
Elon,
Yeah,
yeah.
Elon.
Electric Light Orchestra.
ELON.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna do it by 2026, and we'll make it profitable. You know, it's pretty
That's the
ridiculous.
key. As soon as he
I don't
said
have many.
profitable, people became interested.
I don't have many heroes, but
Buzzwords.
yeah,
So
Tesla is now coming out with a $35,000 car. That's pretty amazing.
One of them passed me on the street, like on the road the other day, and I was like, "It's a decent looking car, but it's not very fast."
No, the new ones are pretty good. I remember their first two models. I think their top speeds were only like 70, 75. But I mean, like, that's one of those things on level ground. But the new ones are, amazing. I mean, it's a $90,000 car. It's fast.
Yeah.
I used to work, where I just quit my job at the second in command rode a Tesla. I forget which version. It was a beautiful car. I first saw it, and I wanted to cry.
You all right? You all right there, bud?
Yeah,
don't
it's
cry.
alright.
All right. Well, I got like one more little small snippet, and it was like regards to NASA. What you were? I didn't want to interrupt you before because I interrupted you like 6 times, but basically, a few weeks, like a week or two back, they released an official statement, basically saying like, basically not disclosing, but saying like they believe that in the near future we will have extraterrestrial contact. And I was just thinking in like in line with that, in a few years back, how like the Vatican basically said if extraterrestrials were like they could possibly be real, they can exist, that they might also be like God's creatures, like pretty much covering their bases. NASA seems like they're covering their bases, and just with different organizations and like prominent people basically coming out and saying, I'm just thinking that this is almost like a prep for the general public, just getting us ready for disclosure. Like it might be time, like we're gonna finally get some answers. I don't. That's how I feel.
I mean, that dude said 2015.
20. Hey, if that dude's right, I will change his. I'll
Yeah.
up him to a 46.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of it's pretty much comparable to like the age-old assumption that the Earth was flat. So it's like for the exact same reasons we're egocentric, you know.
Well,
So
that
we're
gets me
the
too.
center of the universe. Earth is flat, and then it's, there's nothing else than
The
us.
general public may have believed that the Earth was flat, but prominent people that actually were intelligent back then, they didn't believe the Earth was fat. Fat, flat. They knew
Eventually.
Earth was definitely fat.
Do we make?
Eventually. I mean, there was a time where there was no intelligent people like that. There was no advanced mathematics to
Well,
theorize that.
that's like a
There was no
a
birth.
terrible way to look at it. Just because their society wasn't as advanced as us doesn't mean there wasn't intelligent, like thinking individuals. It was just not as socially acceptable. Like there were intelligent people, they just weren't.
Yeah, but I mean, just because there's intelligent people, I mean, when information is learned information has to be learned for the first time. You know,
I mean,
it can be
that's saying that our timeline's also linear too. If you look back, you could say, what if there was an advanced society before the modern birth of man? Like, what if we came after the remnants of a super advanced society?
Or are you saying that the Earth's flat?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to like get here. Is we're flat Stanley.
Yeah. I mean, you can't assume that everything is cyclical, but I mean, you can also assume that it's not.
What do
You know
you
what I'm saying?
assume?
Oh, that's some kind of like, I forget what, there's a theory, like not a theory but like a idea like that where it's just because you can't assume it. What, there's something, it's like on the tip of my tongue, but it's
I
the
think-
idea that because you can't, is that Occam's razor or whatever?
Occam's razor is that the simplest possible explanation is the one you should go with.
Yeah.
You're faced with many plausible
Yeah.
explanations.
Which is like the pretty much the opposition to most paranormal ideas and things like that, where you don't want to believe because it's not the most common answer. I don't know. That
I hear
kind of
you.
goes with that, but yeah, I'm definitely not disputing that. I'm just saying there were intelligent individuals. They just didn't get their props back then.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, it's good
I
to be
don't know
back.
about you guys, but I really enjoyed this show.
It sounds like you really needed it, bud.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
guy.
glad we did
I missed hanging out on air. It's been a while.
I
We gotta
know.
get back into the groove.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank Google.com.
Yeah.
Google always just
Oh yeah.
letting us,
Thank
allowing
you,
us
thank
to do
you.
our thing.
I plan to buy Google Glass as soon as possible, as long as it's under $300, because that's my limit. So just get it out there, Google. Get that price down. Extend that battery life.
Google, if you're going to sponsor the show, get on it.
I don't got all day.
Someone sponsor us.
I
Hey,
don't-
we're
I don't check my email after 5.
we're starting to get some hype, so we're getting there. But
Somehow.
if you're trying to reach us, you could text Aaron. His number is no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna give out your number.
Please don't.
But we do have that email address.
Oh yeah, I checked that. We have no emails. On the Fringe of Society at gmail.com. Supposedly
Or,
the only people who love us is Google, because they
just-
just send us stuff every day.
Just send us a message on our Google Plus page or
Anything.
Telegrams are cool. But yeah.
I'm
just,
only offering this one time. First person to ever send us a comment, we will talk about said comment.
we could just offer that every time.
Well, what if we get a
Yeah.
lot of comments?
Well, then that means
Yeah, that's
From our
then
7,000
it becomes
fans?
hey, 7,000. We're getting up there.
Yep. Someone's
Basically,
viewing
minor celebrities. I'm writing a book about it.
us.
All right. Well,
Um,
it's been real. The next show, it's going to be a good one. So I definitely say tune in. We don't really have a schedule, so just tune in. Just always be on. Always logged on.
yes. Stay tuned.
All right. Well, this is pretty good.
All right. Bye,
Later,
bye,
guys.
audience.
All right.
Bye, bye, audience.
Until next time, we'll catch you on the Fringe of Society.
Fools.
Yep.